but
No, that makes sense though,
but
because I mean, I think that if how you said, I think it's tenure. I just you got to have a duration. People got to come. You got to have somebody around long enough to really uh, catch.
no,
Do
not even that. I mean, you have 3 years of solid wins, and then you decide to drop off the face of the earth with a motorsports department, and
yeah,
you don't do anything about paying homage to those guys that raced for you. Then you have the loss of heroes
yeah,
when you go to promote motorsports again, because you're like, you have to create a fan base and everything else, and racing and motorsports heroes are really the lifeblood of getting people behind you. People don't follow series, people follow
yeah,
brands,
yeah.
or something like that. Anyway,
What?
yeah, sorry,
Oh man, I had
we're
a good.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're gonna save this because I have a really good question for you. I'm gonna write this down
You're gonna start hearing
because
me, and this is where I start going off on a tangent. And anybody that I can talk
yes.
to who has pull with Nissan and motorsports, or even marketing in that respects, or even the Nismo brand, I just tell them, it's like, man, we gotta do that. Anyway,
No, I
you
got it.
caught me talking and talking and talking. We
That's that
sorry,
rant mode.
folks.
Well, that's what we do. That's what we do.
Oh, welcome to the another episode of between two SR20s. No, just kidding. We are another episode of the Nissan Nerd Podcast.
Let's,
Mike, tell them what they won.
let's go for it, guys. Again, thanks for you guys being here. Again, my name is Mike DeLashmutt. The guy with the rather nice beard this evening is Miles Hall, or mustache, I should say. There you are. Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Let's get into this episode tonight, guys. We are going to talk about the NISMO revealing their GT4 entry Z car.
Mhm.
We've also got the latest Nissan Motorsports update for you guys, and then as far as back alley chat, we we're gonna ask you a question. What was your first Nissan, Datsun, or Infinity, and why it was great to you? And we're really looking for your feedback on this as well. So get ready with your stories. We're gonna look in the comments section. We're gonna get sentimental.
Ah.
It's the Nissan Nerd Podcast. Let's do this.
We're
Yeah.
gonna get sentimental.
We're
All right.
well. Watch. Yeah, we're gonna maybe we can get a chance to pull the heartstrings, man. Because that's why we do this, man. This is how we met each other. Even it's the car. So we're gonna talk about what
That's how we met each other.
that origin story. The origin story. So that and then yeah. Hey, I was just thinking about the song, the intro. We always talk about it, and I was thinking.
Go
We
on.
should have put it on the survey whether or not people like it.
Oh yeah, it's a big thing. Maybe we should go something. We've talked about this, about going a little more like didgeridoo, or I don't know, synthesizers, maybe like a little Yanni type of flavor to it.
Oh, who knows? We'll
Hmm.
get into that
A
survey later on
softer,
though. But
gentler Nissan Nerd Podcast. Yeah. There's some whales.
got the cardigans and dolphins. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Dolphins. I mean, some people. It's new age, man. It's a new age.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right.
Well, dude,
Well,
we just saw each other not too long ago, but you look different, man. I see you got a haircut. Your sides look rather thin. You shaved it down to the nub, man. Your head looks like what did you do, man?
well, since you ask, let's see here. I was in the middle of cutting my hair because I cut my own hair for the most part, and then my daughter decided that she wanted to also style my hair too as well. So I made her a deal that if she did good in she did her ABCs, and because she's young like that.
Right,
So
right.
she goes, she could style my hair and make me look pretty. And I'm like, okay, that's
Uh,
fine. So I was like, let daddy cut his hair and then you can style it. So
uh-oh.
in that regard,
Ah, no way.
she made me pretty, and she made me promise that I wouldn't take it off before.
The entire
show.
show?
Yeah, apparently.
Wow,
I gotta
man,
check it out.
that's dad love right there for you,
Yeah,
man.
well,
That's go
it's
for
what
it, man.
happens
You gotta
when
own it.
you gotta own it, and that's it. That's the life. I
That's
gotta
badass, dude.
get my buns right.
You got your buns right. You got your Mickey Mouse
I
ears.
gotta get my
I don't even
buns
know what you
right.
call them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they're Mickey Mouse ears, maybe. I really don't know all that, but yeah, she wanted to make me look beautiful, so there we are. All right, I got
Wow.
ribbons in my hair. Let's party. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, I took a little off the sides. I'll
That's
figure
good,
that
man.
all out later on.
It,
Whatever.
it was noticeable. Like I was like, yeah.
All
I,
right.
oh yeah.
I was starting to look a little too much like Razor Ramon from WWE.
Yeah.
Chico,
Yeah.
Chico.
You get the
Like
toothpick everywhere you go.
it was a
Yeah.
little bit too brutal, and then eventually, I don't know. I need an age appropriate haircut when I can figure it out. So we'll
So
go from there.
thus the
The
buns.
comb over
The
is a coming. So one of these days you'll see me with the comb over or the big. I used to rock a pompadour forever, but
pompadour.
I had
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
pompadour. I had the pomp forever. So we'll figure it out. So
Y-
a little too
Yeah.
greaser.
Yeah. Well,
So
I was thinking about it too. Have you ever seen those videos and pictures of the guys that are they're big punk fans and they have the mohawk, but they're like in their 40s and 50s now, and
and
it's
it's
just it's
all thinned
thin,
out on the
it's
side.
thinned out like a freaking dandelion, dude.
That's
Just
there, bro.
yeah.
That's how
But
it
hey, that's
is.
dedication, man. That's living it every day of your life, man. That's dedication for sure. So yeah, I can't
I,
knock
s-
that. That's
I
awesome.
suppose. So, all right. Well,
Okay.
let's stop talking about our receding hairlines
Okay,
and
that's a
let's
deal.
move on to I guess what else we've been up to besides my bad haircut. Uh,
Hmm.
let me see here. I don't know. Like I've just been kind of on a tangent. I don't know. Occasionally I go through these like buying spells where I'm trying to find something.
Yeah.
And there's not too much that eludes me because usually I can find it or I can reach out. But you know what I've been on the hunt for like a really long time is
What's that?
like and we've talked about this commercial before, but the original like GI Joe commercial, Nissan Mattel 300ZX commercial
Oh, the
that they did,
classic,
the
of
GI Joe.
course.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I love that commercial.
I've been trying to find that shirt or just a good reproduction, a
A good, you
good
mean knockoff?
reproduction,
You mean knockoff?
a good knockoff because yeah, the shirts are a little hard to find. Or you know what, maybe we should think about maybe doing a I was thinking about this the other day and I knew you were going to ask me and I was like, you know what, I was like, to me that's one of the biggest signature Nissan commercials ever, and we've talked about what
We
are the
talked about how
biggest
popular it
Nissan,
was.
how
Yes,
popular it was and
the
how
amount of effort.
it still holds true today.
Yes, it
you know
does.
and on that note I took a little liberties
Oh yeah.
with your face.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I did.
I go. Eh, what?
I get
Okay,
out of the way.
that's
Yeah,
not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I'll
well,
take
you're
that.
anatomically correct. So that's it. That's you right there, man.
Hey, I'll take the GI Joe over the Barbie doll all day, man. Freaking
Well,
hey,
yeah,
put my
I
face on
could have
that
gone
doll.
that
All
route, but I
right.
did not because
Thank you.
I took the high
See,
road.
you do have a heart. You take the high road
Oh yeah,
sometimes.
occasionally,
Yeah, yeah.
occasionally. So moving right along, but yeah, if anybody knows where I can find a GI Joe reproduction shirt that's not garbage and it's actually
Yeah.
nice, let us know. Otherwise, I have to make my own and steal copyrights and all that kind of fun stuff. So and then cease and desist orders come. But yeah, needless to say, we're gonna
Yeah.
do something. Maybe
Have you
we'll
checked eBay at all?
I have. It's garbage.
Mm,
Etsy has some stuff, but it's usually garbage. But anybody knows anything, just let me know. Anyway, moving along.
that's good. Let's do it. Yeah.
What have you been looking for? I mean, now that we're on the subject of eluding stuff that we've been hunting for, eluding us, what have you been on the
Well,
hunt for?
so when I go and search for something, it's obviously something that's not new, right? So it's either something that's like either discontinued, just like your shirt, like you're talking about, or some sort of
Mm,
replica, quality replica or something. But for me, it's car parts, man. I've got this 91 300ZX, and I'm a big fan of period specific parts,
ooh,
especially aesthetics, like the looks of the wheels and certain accessories.
yeah.
I'm
What do you
not too
got?
big on body parts, like certain types of uh, certain type of exterior mods at all. But I mean, when
Hmm.
it comes to there was a certain exhaust piece that I needed. It was a Stillin part. Stillin had made this adapter that I really I just recently discovered that that they had produced it, but obviously they discontinued it also about 2 decades ago. And I said, you know what, I want one of these for myself. Lucky enough, I found one on eBay, and I have one now. But that's usually if I'm looking for something lately, it's just been car parts of some sort. I know you're big on fashion though, man. You always got some hat or shirt or jacket or
Yeah,
like that's your
I
thing.
love merch. And by the way, if you're looking to be a sponsor and you may not have money to send to us, guess what? We take full frontal merch. You know what I mean? Like, just we are all about the merch. If you want us
Yeah,
to
I mean,
advertise for you and your business, we'll help you out.
all our
You know,
shirts are typically Nissan related, so
this
yes,
is what we're here
that is
for. This is
true.
the community. So if you have something that you want to promote, let us know. Pay us in shirts
Yeah.
or something else. We'll figure it out. So we're
Let's get into the crowd real quick here,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
We had a few comments here, guys. Thanks for being here with us. We're just getting started into the show, and we've got a lot to cover. We have here Brad McDonald, our good buddy from Australia, is here, man, saying,
Mm,
"Hey, guys, thanks for being here, Brad.
Hi,
Thanks.
Brad.
Uh, I mean, thinking about it from Australia again, we do this every time. Like, what time zone is it? It's important though, man. It's
Well, we have to be cognizant of what everybody's doing to
it,
attend these shows live. So
it's hard enough to
kudos.
get people, yeah, people in our time zone to watch us, much less one that's ways away. So yeah,
Well,
yeah.
this is why
So
we put it on YouTube so you can watch it later and act like you attended the live event. So yeah.
nice plug. Yes, we also have we
Oh
also
yeah,
have
I didn't
YouTube.
even think it was a plug.
Yeah,
But
right. Wink, wink.
kudos to Harold on here with us.
Thanks.
I'm
Hey,
sure
hey,
we'll have
buddy.
some more people jump on with us here as we continue on with the
Of
show.
course.
And again,
Yeah.
continue to comment. Again, thanks for being here. And anything you'd like us to comment throughout the show, just make sure that you write it in the comments and we'll talk about it. Or if you have input or you want to talk a little with a little more insight, or you want to challenge us to say that we don't know what the hell we're talking about, we gladly accept all
Yes.
challengers. Just make sure you drop it in the comments and we'll keep it going through the show.
Yeah, you can't do
Uh,
anonymous because we will find you.
we will find you. We will find you. But before we go ahead and begin, let's do a little kampai, a
Oh
little
yeah.
salute to those in our Nissan family who are with us or no longer with us. Little kampai.
All right, guys, come by. Join us if you got it. Woo. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Drinking out of my Nissan Aussie mug,
Mm.
vintage. So
Dang.
yeah,
Another goodbye that you found. I'm sure.
yeah, that was a total eBay purchase from Australia. But again, I stop pushing Fleabay.
You have a
But
problem. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
well, I got a little bit of an addiction, right? It's been going for a long time. But yeah,
Yes.
so let's jump right into what we call Nissan news. And Mike, I think you've got the first article. Go ahead and tell us what you got.
Let's go into it, guys. This was actually the most popular story that we've seen this week. Actually, this came from Nissan's own news media outlet, the official newsroom of Nissan, and I'll share my screen on this for you guys. Let's do this. There we go. The Nissan Motorsports NISMO team has revealed their Nissan Z GT4 competition Z that'll be ready for the track in 2023. And what is GT4, you ask? It's a spec of race car where it's based on the production vehicle itself. It's not this unlimited class where you think of fiberglass bodies and tube chassis. It's not that. This is factory steel, factory stamped steel, and the modifications. Typically, I think the engine also is. There's certain rules to where it has to be, the same motor, perhaps even a lot more rules, but it's much more centered toward a production car. So in between me and you, Miles, that's where we're more. It's more of an everyman car that people are modifying anyway. This reveal was accompanied by a live stream debut by Nissan through YouTube, and I have a video here. I'm going to share it with you in the background. It's very very cool. In about a 3 minute video, and what you'll see is just how the car kind of came to be, some of the research, and go from there. By the way, in the beginning of this, you can tell that Nissan actually used some video or some footage from ZCon, a lot from the community, the U.S. community. And let me know when you see it here. It's in the first couple of seconds. Of course, there's our buddy Mr. Gupta, very, very much in charge of the Nissan Motorsports.
Ah,
Look at that. We got to know that guy. That was an Arizona Z car. I saw the sticker. That's from ZCon about two
that was
years ago.
during COVID. Yeah.
Yes, yes, Tennessee. It was in Tennessee,
Hmm.
I believe. And so they're of course here talking about the heritage race cars that we know and love for many decades, getting into the new Z car and its motorsports entry. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here, though. But what they're saying here is that this GT4 car started out as a body in white. And for those who don't know what a body in white means, literally it's just the body that what you would receive from a factory, just the steel, nothing on it, very bare aside from a primer on it, essentially. Um, the development took place at NISMO's engineering facility and participated in multiple track sessions. Um, this is a surprise, Miles, because we reported this back in June.
Hmm.
This was the car that Nissan had as an entry during the 24 hours at Fuji in June. This was the development that they were doing. This is the result of their development that Nissan had in June. But upgrades you see here, you've got, of course, structural stiffening modifications. You have a roll cage. You'll see some hood ventilation. So there you go. This is that body in white we're talking about. Uh, a lot of aerodynamic modifications. You're getting the feedback from the drivers here, as you can see.
Well, those are
Uh,
all those guys are
mhm.
super GT drivers.
Yeah, they know what they're talking about. They're providing some
Yeah.
very, very valuable feedback. So it wasn't like a dealer, like it wasn't like Nissan just slapped something together thinking it would sell. No, they put tried and true research into this. I mean, you can see here for let's say the greater half of of a year. I want to pause on this right there.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I did you see what I saw?
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about this for just a second here. Obviously, you can say, guys, you can see here what we're looking at. This is sort of I'd call it a ninja shot of the engine. You see the intercoolers. Now, this Z, like all production Zs, the new Z has the VR30 engine, twin turbo, and its intercoolers are water cooled, so it's air to water cooling. That's not what this picture tells us. This picture tells us, at least, I mean,
I don't
again,
know.
to the
I'm
bare
seeing
eye,
straight up air cool, but I could be
air to air
wrong.
cooled intercoolers,
But
just like more of a traditional old fashioned, you might say.
for a race application, though, it makes sense.
Well,
One
yes,
less thing to fail. So yeah.
yep. And then I also think about, also regulations in racing. I mean,
Mm.
uh, y-
Anytime you can eliminate fluids on a vehicle,
especially on a track.
yeah,
Yes,
especially on track
yes.
settings. I don't know if that's a thing at that level for the race rules, but it might be. Yeah, very cool. Though, yeah, we both caught that at the same time. We were like, that's pretty awesome. So,
I did like it much. Just to give you a statement here from Mr. Gupta, of course, he says that we are confident that this track-ready GT4 category, Nissan Z, will be ready to write another chapter in the Nissan Z's 50-plus year legacy of speed. So honestly, I gotta say though, Nissan has definitely been stepping up with their motorsports entries. Obviously, since the new Z has come out, we've always talked about the Super GT 500 class. That's where the Z is at as well. Now you see this GT4 car that is being available. By the way, this car can be bought by practically anybody with the right budget for a car.
well, so
Yeah.
let's talk about when stuff like this comes out, and maybe I'm alluding to a lot more, or maybe I'm just wishful thinking. But
Okay.
when I see stuff like this come out, I'm usually looking for something with the backing of a series. So if I
Yes.
saw something like this, I would like to think that you might see more of these cars in a spec class, or
Okay.
potentially being competed on in say like 300 GT next year, but by different teams. You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
they want to kind of dominate the track or dominate the market. Get a little more branding out there, if you will. But
Yes.
I mean, for this, I mean, there's a lot of competitions, a lot of competitive events. But I don't know. Something in the back of my mind is screaming spec class cars
Well,
or
yeah.
spec series if they're going to be made available. I don't know.
What I think is that the competitions I think where you will most likely see this car are the endurance racing. We're talking Daytona, Sebring, Le Mans. you'd
Hmm.
probably see this as an entry car. In this article, they had mentioned some of the competition that Nissan is up against, also with GT4 class.
Hmm.
Examples are the GT4 Supra,
Uh,
GTR, the Mustang has a GT4, the Porsche Cayman, BMW M4 are some of the
I guess
uh,
we have to start really looking at what we'd be potentially competing against, and we're going to need to update all of our listeners about all the events and all the competition
yeah.
that's potentially out there.
I
So
think so
yeah.
too. We do a pretty good job of the endurance races. We got to find more. Obviously, we got this from
Mhm.
the Nissan newsroom. Also, the NISMO.com has a really good news outlet where they were promoting this. So we'll definitely keep
Very
our
cool
eyes
though.
peeled.
I
Yeah.
will say that it's very cool, and I love to kind of see this innovation. And I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about Nissan needing to fill a void and getting back into motorsports, and this kind of says that. I mean, they needed to concentrate on getting back to basics within the last year or two, but
Mhm.
it also shows that hey, the love for the motorsports um, uh, fielding some cars for the motorsport world is definitely a passion that they haven't dropped. So very
Absolutely.
very cool. And nothing. It's been a great year for Super GT. We'll talk about that a little bit forward as we
Yep.
move forward. But I mean, it's been one hell of a year for Nissan in regards to motorsports, in my opinion. But
I agree with you. I've got one more thing before we move on, Miles. They
sure.
did mention here there were a lot of things that weren't mentioned in this release. Some examples of that are that the power output is one of them. The price, although we
Mm-hmm.
can speculate on both, and I'll do that for just a second here. Just to give you an example, last episode we talked about the Greddy, the new Z that Greddy is developing.
Mm-hmm.
That car had a horsepower rating, did not specify at the wheel or at the engine. I assume it's probably the wheel. I hope I should say. 473 horses. So I would imagine that a spec GT4 spec Z is likely higher. I would imagine.
Well, keep in mind
Yeah.
there's limiters that come into place, but it's power to weight ratio, and I
Oh yeah, this thing is gonna be much lighter than obviously a production car that a performance team. They didn't.
there's
The Z we saw
rules.
was didn't had a. This one has a gutted interior. The other one didn't.
Yeah,
For
and
example.
then there's all types of spec rules that have to come into place and modifications that have to be made to brand new when you purchase race cars. Sometimes these things have to be modified to pass whatever sanction body is asking them to get in line with. So just something to kind of think about for the future. So yeah, if you're interested in one of those and you're listening here, just make sure that you're checking the rule books of whatever event that you're planning to step into. And
Yes.
we'll
Yes.
give you more details as we move forward with power and
Hmm.
pricing and availability for this limited run, no doubt,
Again,
as
it
we
is
move
definitely
forward.
what makes it so special, guys. And I'll say it again that this is a car that can be purchased. So it's not like it's a one-off or a development or a feature. This is something that could be bought. Price tag is going to be high. If it's anywhere close to what the Supra GT4 sells for, which is right around the $200,000 mark, this car is going to be just as expensive. Just putting that out there. Start saving up now, if, or get some investors on a race team if you are really interested on this though. But I do like this article a lot and we'll be keeping up. Also, one thing, more information about this car will be available to us during SEMA, which is actually happening the first week of November. I believe this car is going to be at SEMA. Of course, we're talking about the aftermarket convention that typically happens in Las Vegas every year for the last 50 plus years. So we'll most likely be following up on this one again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next, the Nissan news. The
Yeah.
Nissan Patrol. This goes out to all our folks out in Australia. And Mike, go ahead and give me the steering wheel when you get a chance.
Yeah.
Um, the Nissan Australia camp is actually getting some new news, but more of an update on what they've been kind of missing this whole time. So the Nissan Patrol has basically been on a potential getting done for the last few years. So recently, in news yet again, Nissan has confirmed that they are going to be producing a Patrol Warrior Edition SUV. that's going to be confirmed in 20, that is supposedly confirmed for 2023. Speculation on design or anything of what it's going to look like is still definitely much in the air. But again, the emphasis on off road is supposedly what's coming down the pipeline. There's been a lot of sketches. This originally was an early on sketch. You can see some modifications in prototype. This is just a digital rendering as of late, but it is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. Now, again, this is no new news for all of our Aussie fans out there. We'll continue to
Right.
try to keep you. We'll try to keep you updated as we know a little bit more, and a little more is kind of made available through the news desk. But again, I don't know. Kudos to Nissan for putting out that Warrior package. It is. It, I think it's going to be a home run if they can ever get it off the ground and ever start making that available. So
I was thinking about the name Warrior because that wasn't that the same name or trim that they were using with the Titan. Titan Warrior.
I,
Remember Randy Rodriguez had a version of
I
that?
I believe you're correct. So there was a Warrior package that was made for a Titan. That vehicle, as of now, is still on display in the Z1 showroom
Z1 showroom.
as of late. So if you're in and around the Georgia area and you want to stop in and go check that out, it's a pretty cool model that they
Yeah.
drag out from time to time and let folks kind of put their eyes on it. But yeah, I think the Warrior package is definitely a good signature for Nissan when it comes to the off road. But they are battling some other things with the Nissan brand, the Nismo branding, and then of course, these other things that they've tried for the SUV market. But again, very very cool. We'll see if anything else comes around from it. So yeah.
Cool. Cool, man. All right. We've got another story for you guys, which I'll share this next one as part of our Nissan news update. I'm going to start off. This is going to be kind of funny, Miles. I want to start off with this video. You're going to get just a few seconds of it, and once you see it, you're going to know. And uh, I'll talk about it more. So this was a documentary that is centered around an aspect of Nissan, and it just came out. Honestly, it came out last year. So I think you shared this with me, but I called dibs on this thing because I thought it was cool. I think it's very very interesting. And for you guys online, take a look at this. I'm pressing play. It's one of those. Who's that? Who's that walking up? Dun dun dun! Freaking
Uh,
live interview documentary with Gozen, and this is about obviously his trials and tribulations. I want to say this is going to be a. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the story's pretty biased. It's not going to be.
it's not going to be complimentary to Nissan. Yeah.
Right, right. But it is interesting. It's just something where like it's okay to want to know both sides of the story. And this is probably more of a he said she said type of thing between Nissan and going, but they do talk about the history. There is some touching upon uh, the results that he had as he entered Nissan. Uh, they're talking about the escape because we always know this. We've talked about it a few times. Gozen escaped through a musical instrument box out of Japan while he was awaiting trial in Japan. Japan has a very, very high conviction rate, so it was almost a shoe in that he was going to be in prison for a while, and he found a loophole to get himself onto a plane undetected and into Lebanon, which exercises
No
no
extradition.
extradition.
Yeah.
It's like a Fast and Furious thing. Wasn't that a whole premise in Fast and Furious too? The
I think it was in
extradition.
5 or something. It was a topic, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, what's funny, and I'll just talk about this. The IMDb page on this, of course, was talking about former CEO charged with financial crimes, stunning the world, fleeing Japan, and a Hollywood-worthy escape. That's what this documentary is talking about. It has archival footage and exclusive access to Gozen and his wife Carol. This documentary was part of a documentary fest they called the Sheffield Doc Fest. This is out of the UK. Um, if you look at the cover, if you ever look at it, there's a little icon, and it didn't win anything. I'll just preface that. It was kind of like false advertising. Hey, we debuted here, but nothing ever happened. It never won anything. But online though, there is 4.5 stars as a rating out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes does not rate this one. Sorry guys, so I couldn't really give you the details on it though. Last thing about this movie documentary is free with ads to watch on the Vudu app. So I know I'm going to be watching this thing this weekend. I don't know about you, Miles. I know we talked about maybe getting together, watching this thing, or
Maybe we'll
maybe
do a watch party or something.
that's what I
So
was thinking. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe if we can get the tech aspect right, we can invite you guys with us to watch it. Maybe we can comment as we watch it. So if anybody's interested in that, let us know in the comments. You'll see if we can get the tech set up to where we can watch this thing
I don't
live
know.
and
I'm so
simultaneously.
torn with this, like, because we've
Yeah,
talked about this, and we're just like, it doesn't really add relevance to the brand. But at the same time, it's like, you know, should we be talking about it? Yeah, I think we should definitely talk about it. But I'm like, at the same time, it's like it's not really positive to the brand. We're moving forward. We're moving with the motivation of the brand right now and
yeah.
the line of the business. But at the same time, we're spokespeople. We're supposed to just report on the news. So
This is,
we go
and it's
on.
kind of gossipy too, man. I guess.
It is a little
Oh my God, did
gossipy.
you hear?
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my
All right,
God.
but again, we'll let you know if anything more comes of this, or we'll just give you our critics review of said event. If we can put something live together, we'll definitely let you know, and we'll do an invite across the medium that we utilize. So we'll let you know as we move forward. So
Yes, yes,
a little
yes.
bit of fun. I mean, it's not necessarily news, but something that kind of came across my search windows that landed on my desk was something that I found on eBay. And if go ahead, Mike. And this came up. Now, this is a Nissan GTP pedal car that was from obviously from the original IMSA SCCA days,
Yeah.
but very cool. We try to report on the really weird and
Well,
rare things like the Tom Cruise car that we
yeah.
just kind of talked about. But this, I have not seen one of these in a really, really long time.
I
I
didn't know they
remember seeing
existed
them
at
out there.
all.
Yeah, they were out for a while, but this is a super rare piece. I don't know. Some guy probably right now is like, "Son of a bitch!" Like that we're talking about it, and now we're ultimately driving up the price. But I thought it
Ah,
was very cool. But kudos to the winner
and
on this. But I'm sure we just raised the price on this thing by about $500 to $1,000.
and
So yeah.
yeah, it's a pedal car. So, I've seen in the past, for example, the Z31 go-kart shell. We've seen those at Z-Cons in the past. I haven't ever seen a pedal car of any Nissan until now, much less the Nissan, was it the 380? Is this the 380 or 390? I always get those two mixed up. I think
I'm
it's the
pretty sure this is the 380.
380.
I could be wrong, but
Yeah,
somebody challenged me, and they're more than
go for
welcome
it.
to bring it
Yeah,
on.
we.
But I want to say somebody, I mean, really put in the wrench time. Just kidding. But no, somebody actually definitely has like maintained this for the most part. It's been sitting in a garage. You can tell a
Original
little bit, but
stickers. Yeah, I mean
original
that's it looks
stickers,
they look
very
original.
cool.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know. I can't see this being much more than I can't see this uh, selling for a low amount. I think this is probably going to go like 500-600 bucks, quite honestly,
Yeah.
or
The
sit in a museum somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what would trying to think about what kind of event or museum you would see this in? Like, I wouldn't say it's a Peterson grade, but you'd probably say it's if the Nissan Heritage Museum was still open, I'm pretty sure you'd see this in the Nissan Heritage Museum. This would be an awesome
Yeah,
little
it's
exhibit.
definitely cool. I was trying to justify buying it for my daughter, and then I'd be like, it'd be one of those things where I'm like, it's a toy, but I'd be screaming at her to get out of it because get out of it. It's
Get
just
out of
like,
the car.
yeah,
This is an
just
investment. I mean, a toy. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, exactly. And then you look weird, and it's just like,
and then she can never
let's
touch a
not.
Nissan because she
I
has
don't need to
bad
pay for.
memories.
And
Yeah.
then Yeah, and then I'm overpaying for a toy, and then I'm overpaying for therapy for a child that I yelled at,
You lose
15 years
twice,
prior.
brother. Yeah.
I lose twice. I lose twice. But
uh,
yeah, very cool. And again, sorry to the poor gentleman that I'm pretty sure I just raised the price up on him by $500 or $600.
yep.
Yeah.
This this
So
this post, this ad or this auction is currently on eBay. The starting bid right now is $200. The reserve has not been met. It does not specify what it is. There is 8 days, 17 hours until the auction ends. Hey, by the way, there is a make offer button that perhaps you can kind of get in past the competition.
yeah,
Honestly, right now bids are at zero. So this is really like an obscure, hidden gem, you might say, right
yeah.
now. So for those of you that are nerds like us, hey man, you got some extra money, play around with this thing, and you got
Yeah,
something.
some rich SOB will come in and get it. Let's see here. Alfred said it's on my watch list now. I bet.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then Randall said straight to the Nismo Fiesta Museum. Negative. So, but
um, by the way, just like we did last episode where we recapped the Tom Cruise auction, we need to recap this on the next episode to figure
yeah,
out
yeah.
what it actually sold for. I don't think it's going to be $100,000 like the Tom Cruise car,
No,
but
no, no.
let's take. You want to take some bets? You want to bet?
I'm gonna say we're gonna do a Price is
Okay.
Right style.
So the closest without going over. I'm writing
Yeah,
this
yeah,
down.
yeah,
I'm going to write
yeah,
this
yeah,
down,
yeah.
Miles.
Okay,
You're on the record.
I'm gonna say 550. And if you say a dollar, I swear to God, I'm
Damn it.
gonna
Okay, 550.
yeah,
550
I'm gonna say
Miles.
550. Unless they pre-sale, then it's just like kind of all bets are
Well,
off. But
that would kind of just forfeit both of our bets on this one.
yeah,
I'm going to.
then we're both right.
Then we're both right, yeah. I am going to say. I want to say as high as 750, but I'm going to say 675.
Ooh, okay. Sticking
That's
with it, staying
I,
close.
I'm thinking it's
All
going to be
right.
close to 700, in my opinion. Because right now, if the reserve bid is 200 and it hasn't been met, uh, like I said, it doesn't have a motor on it. I mean, it's vintage.
Nah, this is
I
all
don't know.
child labor powered. So
Oh, this is a woke culture, sir. This should not be allowed to be sold or resold.
well,
Child
yeah,
labor.
it is straight up. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Good
that's what it
find.
is.
I
It
like
is pretty
this.
cool. I mean, I'm glad I found it. So yeah. Anyway, that's what it is. So kudos to the winner on that. I'm gonna bow out because it's local pickup in California. So negative. I don't feel like making that drive just yet. So
Local pickup. That's also going to affect the sale
oh, so
price.
it's gonna affect. That's why I went with the fives. So
I didn't think about that. Okay, you
but
might
but
have
I
that
got
one then.
people's. I got people, so we might be able to make something
If
happen.
I see your
So
screen name as a winner, or as a manipulator of the price, you're just gonna bet just so that you screw somebody else who else wants it more. You know?
I could,
Yeah.
yeah. So
uh, wait a
all
minute.
right.
Freddie had just commented. It said it's only 330 for shipping. I sense the sarcasm. Is that true? Oh, there is a shipping. It says free local pickup and 330 for standard shipping. So this can be shipped across whoever wants to pay. I'm assuming that's the continental
Our
U.S. in general.
bet does not include shipping. That's
That's true.
just your yeah. So
Good stipulation. Our bet does not include shipping. I've recorded this, Miles, and I'm going to look at this. We're going to recap this on the next episode. I
all
like it.
right, moving along. Let's go ahead. At this point of our event, we're actually going to move on into motorsports. This is us talking about everything that's going to be that's still going on for the racing seasons as they start to dwindle towards the end of 2022. Now, I have to tell you, Mike, Super GT is pretty hot right now. We just saw this whole release of everything that's happening with the new, the GT4. But I have to tell you, it's been a lucky week and it's been a lucky series for Nissan altogether. Let's
Yeah,
see here.
I
Now,
agree.
let me see.
We were just talking before the show here how much investment that Nissan really has put into their motorsports programs this year
Mhm.
alone, and this is a result of it, man. And brand new car, brand new. Well, you could say I'll just say it, it's an all new chassis, 70% new chassis. So I mean, uh, it's meant to make waves. The car looks beautiful. The performance is again the fastest production Z ever made. So it's a great basis to be winning some championships. So I agree.
Well, so let's see here. The race that just occurred here as of the last week was actually round six, racing at the Sugo track in
Hmm.
Japan. I have to tell you, Mike, this has been a pretty exciting last few races for the Nissan teams in both the 500 and 300 classes. And this race basically was just nothing short of exciting all the way through. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the 300 class first,
Okay.
and then we'll go into 500. The video that you're watching in the background is going to give you a lot of both, really.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about qualifying on Saturday. Now, for both the 300 and 500 classes, I mean, they were really nowhere near pre in practice, if you will. They were kind of nowhere near where they wanted to be in qualifying. And then as the day kind of moved on and later in the day, all the Nissan teams were kind of shooting for position, if you will, in qualifying. Let's start with the 300 class, and of course the Nissan is running all the GTRs, the GT3 GTRs. In eighth place for qualifying in the 300 class, that was the realized Nissan Mechanic Challenge GTR, which again placed in eighth place. That's car number 56.
Okay.
Now, I want you to make note of that in all your heads as we
Okay.
move forward throughout the day, because I don't know if Nissan's like doing a sandbag routine here, because they look horrible in practicing and then reasonably okay in qualifying. And then in racing, they're just bringing the thunder.
Mm.
So, again, 300 in the 300 class with the GTR, eighth place, car number 56, realized Nissan Mechanic Challenge GT3. 12th place, car number 10, the Tenax Gainer GTR. And then in 17th place, the Gainer Tenax GTR. I'm telling you that for a reason, because we're going to come back to it here in just a little bit. 500 class in qualifying. Um, this went, again, practice, horrible. And then in qualifying, third place, car number 23, the Motul Alltech Z, again took third place.
Okay.
11th place, your recent winner, the Craft Sports Motul Z, car number 3, ended up sitting in 11th place.
11th.
And then 14th place, car number 12, one of my favorite cars, the Calsonic Impulse Z,
Calsonic. Yeah.
um, and sitting in 14th place. Now, this is qualifying, mind you. This is Saturday. So,
Yes.
not the best placement for the vehicles. And maybe it was just luck, and maybe it was strategic. I can't see it being strategic, but here we are.
Okay.
Now let's talk about race day, because race day is a whole different set of circumstances.
It
As you could
is.
see, as you could see with the race that's going on, and you can maybe kind of pick it up. It started to become a little bit of an overcast and rain day, and I don't know. This may have worked completely in all the teams' favors, but Nissan killed. I mean, they really did kick tail in both 300 and 500 class. Now, in the 300 class, as we round it up, and I'll give you a little bit of racing in the background here.
Okay.
You've got the Motul Z that's sitting in second place right there. They are going to pretty much hold on that second position for most of the day. We had one of the a lot of going offs, so it was
Okay.
a really bit of a treacherous day. But all the drivers really kept it true, kept it strong. I want to give a shout out to the number 23 car, that Motul Z that you
Yeah.
see right there, has really just kind of held strong all day long, holding position. But it wasn't necessarily their day.
Ooh.
So going into the 500, we'll go into 300 class again, like I was going to.
Mhm.
Second place in the 300 class, and they're going to flip back to this here in just a few moments. The car number 11, the Gainer Tenax GTR, ended up taking second place
Mm.
for the 300 class. And what's crazy is in third place, the Tenax Gainer GTR, car number 10. So car number 11 and car number 10. Um, They were both second and third place. So
Mm,
kudos to Nissan. Now, the other funny thing is, in fourth place, 300 class, car number 56, that realized Nissan Mechanic Challenge GTR GT3 ended up
yep.
taking fourth place. So they were just
Wow.
all so close to really just running the gambit. Now, the reason why that is so cool and that is so important because on the 500 series, it was also almost a stellar day for Nissan as well. If Now this is all great news, by the way. So the
Yes.
Craft Sports Motul Z, you see them running right here,
Yeah.
and that's the GTR. So you see GTR, you think 300. You see a Z, you're thinking 500
500.
series. So again, first place out of all the runs for the day, car number three, Craft Sports Motul Z, ended up taking first place. Second place,
Woo.
car number 23, the Motul Alltech Z, second place. That car right there. And then in fifth place, they stepped down a little bit further. Car number 12, one of my favorites, the Calsonic Impulse Z, in fifth place.
God.
But no, it's still good because it's still points. Now,
Yes.
again, there it is right there. Just, yeah.
That is an amazing finish. So I went it, dude. Again, I'm nerding out. I wrote every number you mentioned here within the last 5 minutes.
Hmm.
And so you're saying every Nissan essentially qualified. On average, they're qualifying
Almost,
in the
yeah. There's a
teens.
few that kind of
P10.
fell off. The
Right.
Realize Z, there's a Z in the 500 class because the Realize Z,
Yep.
they've been having a tough year. And they've done well and they've gotten in some points, but they
Yeah.
haven't really placed like some of the other vehicles that are out there.
Yeah.
But really, the
But
Craft Sport, the Multiwaltix Z, and the Calsonic Impulse Z are just having great years. On the 300 GTR side, they're all really kind of doing well,
they're doing very,
honestly.
very solid,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, like I said, if they're qualifying, again, you mentioned here qualified 8th, 12th, and 17th,
Mhm.
finished 2, 3, and 4. That's an amazing finishes for one. And then you mentioned also with the Z car and GT 500 class, Q3, Q11, Q14,
Yeah.
finishing first, second, and fifth. Now, two things. One is you mentioned the rain that's actually happening at this event.
Hmm.
It reminds me a lot, what they say about that. They go, rain is the great equalizer
Equalizer.
for
Yeah.
drivers in many
Hmm.
ways. You got to have really good drivers. So that tells me that, you know, uh, based on the results, the drivers that Nissan has for these teams are very, very good at what they do. I believe that just on these numbers alone. The other thing was that um, oh, QP, Q4. Uh, oh my God. PP Q4.
Yeah. So, so moving along again, first place Craft Sports Motul Z, second place Motul Altec Z in 500 class, fifth place Calsonic Impulse Z. Now, the reason why that's so important is because those cars, I'm letting you know, they're still really high ranked in the qualifications. So let's talk about ranking because there's only two more rounds that are left.
Okay.
In first place, car number three, the vehicle that you see in front of you, or the team that you see in front of them, in front of you, Craft Sports
Yeah.
Motul Z,
Yeah.
they are number one right now. So they are
Woo!
leading the series at this point, and I could tell you right now, number two
Yep.
is the number 12, the Calsonic Impulse Z. They're
Dang.
sitting in second, and the points they're not far off from one another. It's anybody's game, like they always say. But again, very good. Now you don't want to know who's in third. The
Please.
number 23, the Motul Alltech Z. Now the significance of that is Nissan has the top three rankings right now in the
Yeah.
series.
That's
That's
amazing.
one, two, and three.
As a constructor, you got three constructors all with the Nissan marquee on this thing.
Hmm.
Looking to have a what would you call that? A home they call it turkey. Turkey's three. Oh no, triple crown you might even say in some
Hmm.
cases. It's very, very impressive. It's going to be a record year. I mean, I don't have the history of GT Super GT on me, but would you say this might be one of the first times or that Nissan has ever done this, or has ever been
Yeah,
close enough to this?
yeah. So for all you people out there kind of sleeping on this series right
Yeah,
now, this
yeah,
is not the time that you want to sleep on this series. This is probably going to be one of those historic Nissan moments if you're truly like a fan of the brand. I have to tell you, now's a chance. Now's a good time to start watching these live videos because they are really are doing having an amazing year, and it's they could definitely use the support. So again, I'm just blown away this year. Last year we
very
followed
impressive.
him, wasn't the best year. We had the GTRs in the 500 class, and it wasn't the best, motorsports year. It wasn't bad either. On the 300 class, it was great. The mechanics GTR guys cleaned up last year,
Mhm.
but in this year it's just these Z's have just been kicking ass,
That's
and
amazing.
yeah,
Yeah.
so.
You know, I was gonna say earlier. I got my thought back. The names of every team are just so they just roll off the tongue, don't they? I mean, you actually did a really good job calling out the names of the teams. You had every syllable down. I knew it took a lot for you to do that, man. So props to you for
Yeah, the
being able
brain,
to do
the
that.
the brain is functioning now. So it's like, but yeah, but like I said, it is what it is. But yeah, again, I mean, this series is great. I'm super happy and super excited to report it. I've been loving the series and loving the races,
Yeah,
because honestly, it's just great, solid racing all the way through. And again, if you're sleeping on this series, you're not watching it, or you're not subscribing to any of the live stuff and getting the reminders,
yeah.
it's your loss, man. Jump on it because this is truly going to be a stellar year for Nissan. So yeah.
We've got a few comments from online. I want to share one. We've got Calvin, who is actually, you can tell he is a fan. He knows a lot about the series and Nissan, and he wrote here. He goes, "It's sad to him that the Autech car is third. It is the main flagship car and is beaten by its sister cars.
Mm,
Interesting to think about."
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, they kind of fell. They fell down definitely this year, and I don't know. I can't tell you what the details are that they're having inside of the paddock, but it seems
yeah,
like they're not finding the speed that they want, and they haven't really been met with like collisions or accidents or things like that. It's
yeah,
just been they're just not keeping up the pace with the rest of the pack. But
and
I mean, I remember. I think I can't remember. It was like 2 rounds back that I think it was the Motul Z. I mean, the they just the Motul Alltech. They just blew the doors off everybody on in I think it was qualifying. And but yeah, I mean, don't get too sad, Calvin. They've been definitely holding their own though. So.
Yeah. There was something you mentioned here too, how you said qualifying and racing are two entirely separate races.
You
The
know,
racing nerd in me, yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I mean, the F1 nerd in us,
I think that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah.
it was just being like qualifying is everything. It's
It's
like,
time attack. You're giving 100% of that car, driving the car on its limit, just for that one perfect lap to get you good position for the race. And then when you get to the race is typically obviously 50, typically 50 to 70 laps, depending on the length of the track, right? Um, at about 70, 80 percent capacity of what the car is actually capable of doing because you're trying to have tire strategy now and other factors. So how you said qualifying high on the grid, however, the finishing results in the race are amazing right now. So
I
that's
hope,
really cool, interesting. Yeah,
yeah, I can't see a positive story coming out of this in any fact. I mean, they had a really bad crash this year.
yeah they did. I remember
I mean,
that.
one of the,
Yes.
some of the Z's have had really big incidents. Of course, racing, you're going to get that, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be one of those years, and I'm just waiting for all the swag to kind of come out, the
Ooh.
championship swag, and I'm gonna have to
It's gonna
place
be like
some
the
orders.
NBA, right after
Yeah,
the game, they toss out the shirts.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They don't
All
do
the
like us, and they go downtown and light a bunch of cars on fire. They're they don't really roll like that. But yeah,
they
I don't know.
donate the loser T-shirts to other
Yeah,
countries,
they
third
can
world
start getting their shirts all
countries.
pre-printed. Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a hell of a
learn.
gamble right there.
It's a hell of a gamble. There you go. But you need the shirts, right? yeah, it's like it is what it is. So, but yeah,
There's
again, we'll keep you updated as we move through the series, and keep you updated on what's happening with the as we get down to the last two rounds. The next round is actually going to be this weekend. We will send you a live feed,
oh,
so keep watching us through the Facebook page, and we'll
okay.
give you the live racing feed as we get them, and then we'll keep you updated. I think after that we'll have, by my math, we'll have one more episode, and then it'll be the final rep of
Ooh.
um of Super GT.
Oh, I'm
That'll
excited
be
about
it,
that one,
man.
man. Good,
So
good coverage, dude. You did really well, man. That's
oh, thank you.
you're such a good speaker. He speaks so well. All right, all
He's
right.
so well
He's
spoken.
so well
All right,
spoken. Yeah.
moving on.
All right, I do. As part of Motorsports update, I have an event for you guys. It's this event we've spoken about in the last for the last 2 years, and it has been an event that Nissan has had entries in. More of a grassroots competition, not so much as a factory or high budget, but wanted to talk about it for just a second. We are talking about share my screen on this one. Rebel Rally. Rebel Rally has been an event. Oh, it's been going on for more than just 2 years, though. We just started covering it, though. But this year's event is October 6th through the 15th, not too far from now. This is an all-women competition. It spans 8 days and endures over 1,500 miles of stunning terrain, they say, across the Nevada and California desert. It's not a race for speed, but it's really more of an event of the elements, hidden checkpoints, time, distance using maps, compass, and road book. No GPS is allowed, no cell phones are allowed, just old school instruments to navigate your way in these very challenging terrain areas. To me personally, it's just a game of survival. I was going through this website some more, the pictures and the gallery, and you see the flat tires, the getting stuck in the sand. Like this is
It's
really
legit.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
legit. Like honestly, like the more I every time mm, mm, mm,
Mm,
every time I watch anything about it, or I watch anything with the updates for the Facebook, or the Twitter that we're getting from some of the girls as they race through last year.
yeah.
I mean, and some great photos, by the way. Also, I think there's great footage there. There's some great heartfelt stories that are there
Yeah.
too as well. Um, and I'm just going to go ahead and say this: if anybody from Nissan's on the horn or watching this show, you I think these folks need your support in the way of promo. I mean, we get back to the old the Nissan TV, or
Mm,
the Nissan show. Like we actually do like 15 or 20-minute skits, or somebody at Nissan say, you know what, we want to help finance and promote this,
yeah.
at least with our teams. Let's try to get a small TV series with like Motor Trend, and
Hmm.
just half finance that. You know what I mean? Just the documentary piece of it. And I don't know. I just think that there's so many good stories that kind of go into this. You've got
Yeah.
amazing drivers. Um,
Yeah.
just don't think that these are random people that are being into this, or some weekend warriors. There is
Yeah.
some hardcore off-road and outlanding people that are involved in some of this stuff. The last two ladies that did it up last year,
Yep.
I mean, they kicked ass, and the year before that, I think it was the same team from the last 2 years, and they just did a hell of a good job. The names escape me.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know this now,
A
Mike,
lot
but
of teams are on there. I don't have. Well, that's the reason why I mentioned it too. You made a good point about Nissan's involvement. That was the reason why we support this event and
because
talk about
Nissan
it.
involved it last year.
Yes, last year they used this event as a platform to debut the new Nissan Frontier. They had the Nissan Frontier in its livery form, very very nice, stunning truck to look at in it with the livery and whatnot. And they
And I,
took
and I,
that
and I
same
think
truck.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, they show it like with the dust and everything on it
Yes, at SEMA. They took it
at
to
SEMA.
as
That's
soon as they
right.
were done
Yeah,
with this event, they took it to SEMA with the dust on it to kind of prove its capabilities
that's
and
badass.
their participation. It was great. That was the prime, you might say, the main Nissan sponsored vehicle last year. There was also an Xterra that was very impressive. It wasn't a new vehicle at all. It was, 10, 15-year-old Xterra doing its thing, man, going off road. That team, I believe did fairly well in its class. There are multiple classes in this competition. One of them being all electric. There's an electric class, which is really really cool to think about.
I still want to
Um,
see the Araya.
yeah,
I do want to see the Araya out
I was
there.
thinking the same thing. Yes, the Aria or Aria.
Aria, my
We're gonna have to
apologies.
play rock paper scissors on this
We'll
one.
figure it out. I'm
Yeah.
sure somebody from corporate will call us and be like, guys, we don't
for the
ask much. We
for the
don't ask much of you, but can you guys please get the name right?
we told you
So
like 6 times already.
yeah, we just cease and desist. Just-
um, I was gonna say the Nissan's participation has been pretty good this year. I'll be honest, we're like it says here in the upper left hand
I
corner.
haven't seen a lot of about the teams, like a
Yes,
lot of detail, like who's actually running. And I know like the clock is literally right there. It says 6 days.
6 days away.
And I'm like, because I'm trying to like play favorites here, and I'm trying to get some background news and like, start picking my horses, if you will,
Yes.
like it's a horse race, horse bet. But I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's something that's going to be, they're having a lot of changes and they haven't released it just yet, and I'll give that to them.
that's and
But
that's what I was thinking about
come
too.
on, homie, like,
Yeah, yeah. The coverage when I went onto the team's page on this website again, 6 days away. I go to the team's page. The listing is still for the 2021 teams, not this year. So
okay.
I couldn't. I would love to tell you guys online exactly what Nissan entries we have this year. However, I just don't have the access to
It
it.
it
So
sounds like we're going to be reporting on this after the fact.
I think so.
Unfortunately, this next race, but we'll try to save and start a file of about as much that we can collect and
Yeah,
give you some details on. But again, we fully support it. We're looking to get a little more detail as the year kind of rolls on. So,
I agree.
or as
I
the
agree.
event starts to come forward. So, kudos. Now, I did need to make for this next event, I needed to actually make a public apology because
Ooh,
last series, and Mike, go ahead and give me the steering wheel. Let me see here.
sure. Last
Okay.
episode.
So
Yeah.
the last episode, we were on a bit of a crunch. We had a lot going on. We did it to ourselves. We were trying to cover a lot of news, and a lot of things were going on at the time. But we thought that the series had been completed, so we were giving overall driver standings based off of the 10 races, when in fact it was a 12 race series. I don't know how we
Oh.
missed it. Maybe because half this website sometimes is in French, and then trying to watch anything else on updates is usually delayed, and we literally had finished the race like what, that day or like a day before, I don't know.
Yeah.
Excuse. Either way,
Excuse.
I'm going to go ahead and follow my sword and just say, you know what, our mistake. We did not report the proper champions,
Mm,
but I did want to say that it's kind of ever so bittersweet. So your race leader and your race champion
okay.
for the Centric class was actually a young lady that we've reported on before, Valerie Limoges,
Mm,
with the group Gabrielle and the Total Quartz. She actually ended up taking the series. Simone Charbonneau ended up taking as your second, and then of course Alexandre Fortin in the Foy Nissan and the Fix Auto was in your third place. Now the significance of this is, it's normal racing and you're always going to have first, second, third, but the significance of Valerie winning is a little more of a better story.
ooh,
Now, Mike, let me share something else as well.
sure. Let's do it.
Hit me.
There you go.
Now, this is Valerie. Now, Valerie is the winner of the series, the Century Cup, and the significance of this is pretty is pretty paramount. The reason why Valerie winning is paramount because it actually makes history for Canadian motorsports. It
Oh,
turns out that Simon, just to backtrack, Simon Charbonneau wins the final two races of this season, but in points, Valerie was your champion. And the reason why it's so important, again, for the make history in Canadian motorsports, it turns out that she's the first woman to win a motorsports event in Canada's racing history.
I like that. That's good. No,
So
seriously. I mean, I hope that pace was all right. It's not sarcastic at all. Like,
yeah, it was almost
is it
there. Like
is
the
it
pace was
faster?
kind of that,
Okay,
a little bit.
there you
Yeah, there you go.
go.
That's a good
Yeah,
pace.
all
That's
right.
a
That's
good
what I meant.
pace.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
So again, kudos to her for becoming the first female racer to clinch an all category title in Canadian road racing. But again, yeah. So she won overall in
Congrats.
points. But again, a hell of a race. If you go back and look at some of I think it was race 9 and 10. I don't know what it was. I was watching both of those races on
Yeah.
the date, and we were kind of blowing it up like "Go Valerie, go!" And I don't know. I'm not going to say that's what pushed it, but I'm going to go ahead and just say that's what pushed it. So
There you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was you specifically that
It
really
was
gave it that
it
extra
was
five
it was
horses
the
that she
Nissan
needed
Nerd
there.
podcast specifically that boosted her to the win, not
You're
the
welcome.
not the hundreds of points that she acquired on her own or the hard work and dedication that she had as an all around just ass kicker driver. So kudos. No, but I went back and watched like footage of her driving and her techniques. I mean, it's nothing but stellar. She's just an amazing driver and deservedly that championship went to her. And if you want to go back through, you can watch some of the YouTube videos on some of the rounds from
Yes.
prior. But again, we did want to make sure that everybody knew who your race leaders were, at least in the Central Cup. So kudos to her. In regards to the Micra, I don't think we changed. On that one, I owe you no apologies. I'm pretty sure I gave you the appropriate winner. In that particular case, on the standings, I think it was oh God, and this is where I'm probably going to get my hand slapped. And I'm going to say I was right last time. You'll have to go back and listen to the show last time to prove me
Mhm.
wrong, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
So
There you go. You do the homework and tell me I'm
you
wrong.
do
I'm
the
not gonna.
homework and tell
Yeah,
me I'm wrong. And yeah,
we
that's it.
already digged a deep enough shovel for ourselves.
Yeah,
We
you know
a
what?
hole for
I just,
ourselves. Yeah.
and I will say this: like, I really enjoyed the series. The English adaptation is starting to get there for us,
Is it
but
getting
if
better? Yeah.
it's getting better. Like, honestly, like the first couple races were just like, okay, where can I watch this and where's the footage? And then towards the end, it started getting a little bit better. So I'm really
Ah.
excited, and I'm hopeful that they do another season for next year,
Oh
and
yeah.
we are going to report on it, and we're
Yes,
going to
we
try to
are.
give it all of our continued support as we move forward into 2023. We'll try to give you an update on. I would like to get like more background on like the
I,
teams
I
and like stuff like that. I just can't
yeah.
find anything. I don't know if like Canada keeps everything like guarded and it just maybe they're on the dark web.
They
I
got
don't
them.
know, but
It's guarded by a few Mounties somewhere, and
I
who
don't
knows the
know,
results.
man. Just
I was thinking the same thing because I went to the again. I go to the Nissan, Century Cup YouTube channel, which I think is the probably the source
the
of all
source,
of
right?
all sources, right? And a lot of the videos were weeks or months old. It wasn't. I couldn't find anything from their most recent races, so we're going to continue to cover it. But yeah, the idea of having some actual
Make it easy.
video
Make it easy for us,
help.
Central Cup. We love you guys. We want to give
Yeah.
you all the love. We just need more data. We need more info. So yeah, kudos to them. So on that, that's going to finish out our motorsports. Mike, unfortunately, you
Motorsports.
can't talk about Formula E because there's nothing to talk about right
Nothing
now.
this time, not until
Um,
January, guys.
a lot
So
of PR
don't hold
has
your
been coming
breath.
out about the new about the series and all the technology in between the cars, and
Yes.
we're not going to bore you with some of the PR, even though it actually is pretty good PR. You can check it out through
Yes.
the Facebook page on the Formula E team. But once we have more details, we're definitely going to start letting you know as the prep up and the roll up for the Formula E series kind of comes around.
I like it. I like it, man. That wraps up motorsports, Miles. And I know this is typically a time where we kind of get into the whole parking lot mode. So I'm going to change my background on this one. We're back to where we in our element. This is us out in nature.
Oh, we were going to relax.
Oh
Is that what
yeah,
we're doing? Oh,
that's what I'm
okay.
trying
All
to.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Ugh.
I'm gonna get a nice cocktail and just start the fireplace and just
That
kind of
that's how back
relax.
alley. Oh, great. That wasn't the picture I was shooting for,
Mm,
bro.
this is what I relax to. All right.
what this is the whole premise of back alley chat is meant to be like a parking lot, right? We're doing what we would normally do at a typical car meet or meeting. We're just doing it online, so that's what we get into back alley chat. I'll start off, Miles, if that's okay with you.
Please do it.
We're talking back alley chat, guys. We actually look forward to hearing your feedback in the comment section. It's actually gonna be a big part of this one, so feel free to write in the comment section about the topic. And here it is. We want to talk about what model was your first Nissan, a Datsun or Infinity, and what made it great to you. This is where the whole
Mm,
sentimental thing, right? So like, uh, there are various reasons that a Nissan could be great to you specifically. Again, we're gonna share our own stories, Miles, in a minute though. But yeah, examples could be, well, it was just a cheap car in general. Maybe it was cheap to maintain. You gave it, you can give the car a beating, and it always just kept on going. That's a reason to love a car, right?
yeah.
The car is beautiful. I mean, maybe you met your first wife in it. I mean, there's space for friends. I mean, all various reasons why you would love your first Nissan, Datsun, or Infinity. So that's sort of kind of the reason we want to share with you guys. And we're going to share your stories. So feel free to write in the comments as we talk about this, and we'll add your stories after ourselves. Um, Me or you first, man? How you want to do
I'm gonna
this?
let you go first because you obviously want to talk about your own situation, and I'll
Well,
struggle to talk about my own. But please go.
oh man. All right. So we were talking about this last night, and it was like, okay, we can't give too much details, but we want to do it obviously live. Why, lightning. We get this thing authentic.
All
But
right.
for me, okay, so my first Nissan Z was my first Nissan was the 300ZX, non-turbo 1994 300ZX. Um, why I liked it is because I'll give you an example. Like, was there a band that you feel like you discovered on your own that you identified with? This is just an example, like a comparison, right? For me, I mean, it's kind of like that. The band fit in your pocket. You identified with this particular band. I did the same thing with the Z car, though. When I first saw the Nissan Z32 300ZX, I fell in love with it. It looked beautiful. At the time that I saw one, I could never afford one. I didn't even have a job. I was still in my early the mid teens, but I always knew that I would have one, and so that's exactly what I did. I was about 23 and in college, and I'll share my screen, man. This goes way back. Look at this picture, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Look how small that picture is. That's the Motorola Razr days, man. This is how
That's
that's
right. When
how
you
big.
first got that was the first camera that you could find, and
That's
honestly, you were like, "Damn, this thing takes amazing photos."
Yes, this is
Yeah,
the 2 megapixels, and we're so glad to
that's
have
it.
them.
And then you hit your memory limit after 5 photos.
Yes,
That's it.
yes. This was my
Mm.
first Nissan 300ZX,
God damn,
and
that's a horrible
I've
photo. All right,
I know I got a few more, but let me run down the list as to why I thought this car was,
please.
why I loved it so much, though. But
By the way, your hood and nose gap is off, so go ahead and fix that. Back
always a
in.
stickler, yeah.
Sorry, nerd. Go ahead.
Nerd.
All right, go ahead.
All right, all right. So, when I found this car, it was through Craigslist, which barely does anything. Back when it was in its prime, dude, I'm talking like '06, '07 is when I had found this car on
You
Craigslist.
gotta.
Yeah, yeah. The mods were tasteful. Obviously we know the mods, parts, aftermarket parts. You've got your good ones, you got your bad ones. This car
Pink.
had a bunch of good aftermarket parts on it, which I loved. I mean, just being a entry level fanboy at the time. It had HKS high power exhaust. It had Inky RPO1s, Jim Wolf pop charger, still in front bumper. You could tell here, and it ran. It was not turbo, but I didn't care. I mean, and it's 94 too. And for those who know 300ZX Z32s, um, many would argue that 94, 95 year models are some of the best years because it had a lot of features such as passenger side airbag, B pillar seat belts. What else was special for 95, 96, 94, 95 year models? So it was the passenger side airbag. It was B pillars. Um, if you had a twin turbo model, you had an electric Hikis, no longer hydraulic. I remember that much. The
Whoa, whoa,
wiring harness
whoa.
was much, much better,
All
by
right.
the way. It's much
New
more weather resistance.
injectors. What
Hmm.
else? Come on. There's a few
Yeah,
other things.
yeah. And get this,
S-
Miles. It
Diego
was
says suede interior sometimes was an
s-
option. It's
yep.
true.
I got lucky. This one had leather seats as well, power seats. Um, and it was cheap. Check this out, Miles. Again, in today's economy, you would not believe this car was listed for $3,300, and I ended up getting it for 38. Long story. I had to buy it from the guy who bought it. Like I was that dumb to just pay a premium on a car. I just wanted so bad. I got so passionate on it though. But I got a few more pictures I'll share with you. There you go. Much better picture in this case. I think I had the individual camera. Is no
I
longer the
will say
cell
that you
phone.
have the right period correct wheels, aftermarket wheels for it.
Yes, I agree. I am a nerd for the period correct wheels,
Mm,
and these are very very light. These are the predecessor to the RPF ones. So
mhm.
everybody loves the RPF everyone's. Everybody's got them.
Yeah.
This was the predecessor. So these were the best things that you can get, especially around that time, even late 90s. Um, the third brake light was not cracked. It was not faded. That's a very, very common thing with these 300ZXs. I can
Got
just be
that you got
grateful
that
for that.
HKS hyper action, right?
Yes, dude. I loved. I when I'll get into
I
this
remember
later,
that
but
exhaust.
when
Yeah.
I sold that car, I regretted selling the car because of the exhaust. And my car today has a Gretty or has the HKS high power
Yeah.
because of my experience
Yeah,
with
you know
this
what? I
car.
apologize. HKS hypers. Did I say
HKS.
Grady or
I
I didn't say
I
G
think
ready. I
maybe
don't
I
know.
did.
I
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll go back
Anyway.
to the tape.
Yeah.
Judges, can you go back to the tape on
Yeah.
that one?
Tell us
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
wrong and who deserves the hand slap. But yeah, needless to say, it actually, believe it or not, it's actually a fairly tasteful exhaust. Little
Oh,
loud
it
at the
is on the
time,
louder side.
but
Yeah.
that's the time period that we were shooting for. It's what
Eh,
Fast and Furious 2 was out at the time.
Oh,
Um,
seven. So definitely three. Tokyo Drifted had been out by this time. I know that
oh,
much.
so did you have the
Yeah.
ludicrous afro? I could see you with the ludicrous
My
afro.
pockets ain't empty, cuz that's what I remember
Yep. All
quoting that.
right.
Ejecto
So
Cito.
great
Yeah.
car. Check this out. Yeah. No. So what happened?
Well, I got the bug. To me, okay. First of all, I bought this car when I was 23, and again, I do regret selling this car just a little bit because it was a reliable car. I had it just the perfect amount of time where I could enjoy it, but the maintenance that I put into it was rather minimal. I ended up doing a starter and a clutch, and I painted the front bumper, I think. But amazing car. I sold it because I found a twin turbo because I wanted that extra power. Right? I just young and just oh man, I want all the power in the world. Sold this, got the twin turbo. Twin turbo ended up being more of a basket case for that reason. But I love the color on this car. I love my experiences. I remember this is how much of a freaking jackass I was when I had this car. I took this car on dates, and I was like, I knew very well that I paid less than 4 grand for this car, and I was like on a date, and I was like. Oh yeah, this car sold for 40,000, and like I never do that even to this day. But I remember telling somebody that, and like I said, I feel like such a jackass when I think about it. Speaking of jackass, that's me right there, man. 15 years ago, I had the watch. I never do this these days, man. I don't know. I was so full of
And you
myself.
ironed your jeans too.
It looks
Good.
like it doesn't.
Uh,
I know I ironed the shirt for sure,
yeah.
but
I mean, you're an iron jeans kind of guy. That makes sense. So.
okay, so that's me. I got my embarrassment over though, but I did love this car. I had a great time with it. This was my entry into the Nissan family. You never saw this car, by the way. I don't think I met you. I had the twin turbo before I met you.
Yeah,
I
because
had
you
already
had a
made the
twin
jump.
turbo and you came to me with all your problems. So that's about right for me to
That
fix
is
everything, which is how we met. So
that
yeah,
is you. This is the car. This is my second Z, by the way.
that was my
I'm getting
albatross for a couple of years. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So
I might be getting off topic for just a second here though, but this was the second Z, the twin turbo. You can see I swapped over the wheels because I liked them so much. And did I have one more? Yeah, there you go. This is one of the first pictures I want to say of me and you, Miles. We were over there at a tech day, and I brought the car in. I think I had a misfire, boost
yeah,
leaks.
I remember
I had a
fixing
boost
all
leak.
that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so we used to do tech days, and for those of you that have local car clubs, if you really want to kind of keep your club kind of active. You can always do tech days. Those are great.
It's a
The
great
reason
thing to do.
why they're so great is because you can teach people how to service their own vehicles, thus ensuring that they're going to be staying on the road. So
Yeah.
again, that's why we kind of popularized tech days in our area, is because it kept a lot of those cars on the road, gave people an opportunity to get familiar with working on their own cars,
Yeah.
which to me is just paying it forward. And
It's an
yeah,
education, man. I remember
it,
again. I learned so much off of you, and for everybody who attended an actual tech day, we made sure that they walked away knowing more about their car and maintenance in general.
we would think so. Yeah, I worked on a lot of cars for free back then. So
Yeah, look at those hairlines, dude. We were talking about hairlines earlier. Look at that hairline,
I
man. Me
think I'm
too,
still
man.
rocking the same hairline for the most part. Yeah, mine is. I don't know. Whatever. That was my shaved head days. Moving on. But yeah, yeah, great story, man.
Thanks, man. Now it's your turn. I asked you now before. I told you try to find some pictures. I know you had to dig a little bit further than I did.
yeah. I mean, this one behind me. I mean, I have a lot. I've had a lot of Nissans. I mean, a lot. I've had 240s. I've had, I had an S13 hatch. I had, it's always been S chassis and 300s. But when I had S chassis, they really didn't have the value to them that they do. The drifting tax hadn't really been to them.
hmm
So I would say my first Z was a complete debacle. I mean, it
Well,
was
now,
horrible.
just to clarify, so the Z was your first Nissan. So your first Nissan was a
Was
Z.
a Z32 twin turbo.
Okay. Oh, okay. You,
Hold on, slow
huh?
your roll.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
as glorious as it sounds. It was a Z32 twin turbo on blocks.
On
Literally, the car
blocks.
on blocks. Somebody had stolen the wheels off this car, and basically, I bought a car with no wheels.
I was gonna correct you. Like, yeah, you saw a twin turbo with no wheels and says, "No
That's got to be
problem.
for me.
I can
That's
handle
it.
it."
I'm gonna. I can fix that. So I literally bought this car, and then I churn out, and I was probably 19 at the time. And so it was a very expensive
19.
purchase
Wow.
because the car
Yes.
was like missing all these other concerns. It was just never been serviced, oil changed. Like it was all the warning signs were there. And it was sitting in front of like an HEB for a sale sign. And
Okay.
what happened is eventually somebody stole the wheels off it, put it on blocks. And I called the owner. I was like, "Hey, somebody stole all your wheels off your car. Just to let you know, beautiful car. I love it." And he was like, "Guys, I just need to sell this car." And I literally bought it for like, I think at the time, I think I bought it for like $1,900 or something like that.
Twin turbo for $1,900.
Yeah,
You
but
son
it
of a
had
gun.
every problem that you could ever think of. So I
That's
so I proceeded to work on this car with little to no knowledge. And by the way, shout out to twinturbo.net, who gave me
big
basically all the knowledge
influence.
that I needed to work on this car. I continued to work on it and kind of got it up and running. And then somebody wanted it from me, and I ended up selling it.
hmm
And then I was kind of like Z-less for a hot minute. And then the new Z was coming out, the 350. We were like, ooh, what's it going to look like? And
Ooh, yeah.
maybe I'll just put all my money down and buy one of those. And at the time, I was like, okay, I got to buy something else. So I went from like a bunch of bad cars, and I'll mention them so you can make fun of me when I see you.
All right. Okay. Cool. Cool.
Chevy Cavalier. I went to a that I bought for like $1,000, and then I fixed it up, flipped it. Mercury Cougar. Um, yeah, but
All of them. I'm
it
gonna do
was
the
the
same
pimp
thing. Go
one.
ahead.
Had an Oldsmobile Regal stretch for a hot minute. Sucked. I had three Ford Rangers. Like I went through cars for a hot minute there, but I
I
was
remember your
waiting
Cougar,
for.
by the
I
way.
was
Yeah.
gonna come back to a Z. That was my plan. So I had a gold 240 SX S13 hatch, no sunroof. I mean, perfect.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of like college stickers on it, like KMFDM stickers. If you're into that, if you know what it is, like local college radio, like coexist stickers on the back. Like it was it. Like there was gold, it was
Yeah.
perfect. So I stripped all the stickers off. I stripped all the crappy tin off, and I was rocking that for a hot minute. And this is about the time when things were ramping up on the
The
S
drift
chassis.
tax
Like
was
people were
taking
like,
effect. Yeah.
people really wanted that car, and I was like, at the time I was hunting for a new Z, So this guy basically, I was on my way to work at the time. I was just starting off as a in the insurance industry, so I was like just trying to make it to work. And this guy was like, "Pull over, pull over." I was like, "A brand new car." I was like, "Oh, the tires are out or whatever." And he was like, "I gotta have that car." And I was like, no. I was like, I just bought this car. I just fixed it up. I just threw like 2 weekends worth of wrench time in it, and it's perfect. Changed out all the plugs. I got it perfect, perfect.
Right where you
And he
wanted it, yeah.
right where I wanted. It hadn't even. It was all stock, completely stock. And he was like, I gotta have that car. And I was like, man, I'm not interested in selling. And he's like, I'll give you $7,000 for it. I literally bought it for two. I was like, you know what? No, because I'm just gonna keep it. And I'd already bought performance parts that were sitting in the garage. And he goes, keep all that stuff. I'll give you that for it. I was like, nah, I'm all right. So 3 days later, he calls me. I'll give you nine for it. I'm like, no,
Woo!
still not interested. Back then, that was a decent price. It's still a good price today.
It still
And then
is, yeah.
he just told me, he's like, dude, I gotta have that. He goes, and at the time he was a DJ, and so was I, kind of
Hmm.
on the side. And he was like, look, I'll give you this rig that I got. And I was DJing at this place, local place in San Antonio. And he's like, I'll give you my rig and I'll give you $11,000 for that car. And I'm like,
Whoa.
sold.
Is that
So the reason why I told you this big, long, elaborate story, because I don't have any photos of it, because I literally didn't have it that long. I
yeah.
ended up buying this one that you see behind me. And if you share your
Yeah.
screen, I'll
Yeah.
let me see here.
Sure.
Let me see here. Meow 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 meow. And this is a car. This is my slick top that we took. Oh, you don't want to see that one.
Not
You
that
want
one.
to that we took. I think we took that to ZCon, Tennessee. That was the first year, and I got a set of gram lights for it.
Hmm.
That were just nice, like solid 17-inch gram lights. The car was perfect. It was all light, but I bought that car from a general in, God, I remember how many states far away. I think we drove all the way to Oregon to get it. But he
Yeah.
said, I think it had 61,000 miles on it, and it was a 95. And he's like, I
95. I'm
just don't.
telling you, those years are important.
And
Or
it's slick
yes.
top. And he was just like,
Yeah.
he goes, and I told him, I was like, I'm very interested in your car. The price is right. He's like, but he goes, my price is this. So he was like, look, if you want it, I'll sell it to you for $5,000. So he goes,
Whoa.
but you got to get up here.
Whoa.
So a friend of mine, Russell Zotz, was actually nice enough to basically drive me all the way up there. We made a
Wow.
weekend of it, and then we drove back. And yeah, and then I just put a set of gram lights on it and some HKS, or excuse me, some a Grady Profex system that I just happened to be sitting on forever.
Yeah.
And I drove that car and drove that car. Took to a bunch of events,
Yeah.
and I really haven't done too much to it. To this day, I still own that car. I just
Yeah.
ended up dropping it in my storage building in New Mexico, and then I'm going to come back to it. I'm going to repaint the car, and then I'm just going to leave it pretty much how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, what you
Uh,
see behind me is when we took it. I literally had been waxing it, but the joke is in this picture was that at Tennessee it rained the night before at the Z convention, and I got
oh.
mud on my brand new gram lights. So that's why I'm like,
Ah, is that
oh,
why you're
yeah, yeah.
okay?
But
Well,
honestly, I mean, that is probably the car that actually had it. You kind of went back to, it's a way to tell you way too long of a story to come back to it.
that's what we're here for. That's what we're here
But
for.
to go back to it, the reason why the car is sentimental to me and that it's one of those cars that I'm pretty much going to be buried in was because, at the time I had met my wife, and our first date was pretty much in this car. And,
There you go.
and, and it was important because she's like a marathon runner. So she got in the car and she had this big glass of water. And I'm like, ain't no cup holders in here, baby. And, uh, and so she had to like chug
Hold
this
the
gigantic thing of water and then put it to the
gallon of
side,
water.
and then
Yeah.
she had to pee. Now she's probably gonna be mad at me. I'm telling everybody this story, but so we went on a date, and then yeah, so she had to like, I don't know, she had to pee like every 45 minutes
Eh, You're
because
like,
I made her chug her
we're
drink.
going to Olive Garden and we've stopped 3 times. What the hell, right?
So here we are. Yeah. So my first date with my wife involved my Z and her urination problem. So yeah, it was
That's
great. So
and it was. She tells you, "Hey, I need to stop," and then you're like, "Is this love?" that I'm
Yeah,
feeling.
it's
Just like
that's how it was. And then it's just, and I don't know. I love that car. I still love that car, and it's
you still love
great.
the
And I
car, man.
just
Yeah.
so it'll kind of continue on, and then I don't know. The dream, I guess, is to give it on to the kid or something like that. And then, but I mean, as
Uh,
far as cars that I actually absolutely love, this is probably number one. And then
yeah.
I've got low fats, which is probably number two. And
Yeah.
then I don't know. I gotta save one more spot for one more iconic purchase in my life,
Mm.
and I think it's probably gonna be one of the new Z's when eventually all the dust settles and all the craziness ends. So
Good point. Good point. I'm doing the same thing. I'm on a 3 to 5 year plan
I
myself.
got too many 620s though. I don't know. I've been buying Datsun 620s and Xteras and Frontier. I got too much crap. I don't know. My addiction is strong with
Yeah, that's what I'm
Nissan
saying. You
stuff
got a
right now.
problem more than you have parts. I think that's the root
I need
cause.
to. I'm gonna
Who
need.
cares?
I don't know if you need cars and you want clean rides. Hit me up in the next 2023 is going to be a year where I'm going to start eliminating some stuff. We'll see how it goes. I'm all talk right now, so we'll see. But
Gotcha, man. Good one, man. Good one. I'm glad you're able to share that with us, man. We need to
sorry.
go online. We need to go online. We've got a few people who have shared their
Yeah, yeah,
stories
yeah.
as well. So let's go on into the comments here. Start from the top.
Diego.
Diego says, my
Very first car
first
was 35, 85
85
Z31 slick top. Yeah, dude. Those things
Z31.
are
Yeah.
anything slick top in any of the Z's. We're talking like
80s and 90s
280, yeah,
because T
280
tops were it.
ZXs,
T tops was the majority,
280
I would
ZXs,
say.
mullets and T-tops were where it was at. And
Yeah.
I will say that, like, if you have a slick top and you don't know, and you're listening to the show right now,
Yeah.
ask what you want for it because they're going to start. Those are the cars they're going to start asking for money for. But
We would.
yeah,
Yeah.
85 300 ZX slick top. That's right before the whole Datsun. That's probably 80. Is that the weird year where it
84, I
was
think.
where it rocked both
84, 84.
badges?
I want to say it
Yeah,
was 84, but I mean it. I've seen both,
I've
so
seen both. Yeah,
if you know Diego, tell us. We'll correct ourselves with
yeah.
that one too.
Moved out
Randall comes in 1991 Nissan pickup. That's the hard body, right?
hard body.
Bought new, 7,500 bucks. Took it to Panama. No AC. Used to go everywhere. AC and no AC in Panama.
Mm,
That's a lot of sweating. I know that
yeah.
much.
I will
Humid.
say the one thing, one of, and it wasn't my car, but it was like
Yeah.
the group car. But when I was
Okay.
young, like in the '90s, and I was in high school, and Jingo pants were like the big thing.
Jinkos. Oh man, those jeans were
I came
insane.
from a skateboarder background, and that was my like just my world at that time. A buddy of ours had a Nissan hardbody. That was our campfire vehicle, if you will,
Yeah.
outside of our skateboards, and we would like pile in it 3, 4 deep, and it's standard. So somebody was getting racked in the crotch the entire time
There's some
as we
inappropriate touching by
yeah, we
mistake.
threw our we would throw our decks in the back, and then we would jump from one skate spot to the next skate spot.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, like I've always wanted a hard body for that exact same reason,
Yeah.
just because it kind of brings me back to my youth,
Yeah.
of just riding. And I never drove it. I always rode shotgun. So I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking of trucks, Miles, we were talking about earlier. I was sharing these
Oh,
pictures.
that's a
Forgot
720.
I forgot to mention the Nissan 720 in the background. This was an 85 4x4, four
What happened to
cylinder.
that?
Uh, we ended up selling it honestly, and I probably should have tried to make an offer on it. But this was actually the truck I learned how to drive standard in. Very
No,
very
so the
easy truck
so
to
the
learn.
transmission was trashed. I gotcha.
Oh no, we went to a clutch. Yes, that is true. Talk to my dad.
Not double
Yes.
clutching like you should.
Yeah, my brother. It was the king cab too. So you had the parachute seats,
Oh,
bomber
the flip
seats,
ups,
the flip
yeah,
ups.
the
Yeah,
what are the
and
the pilot jump seats?
yeah, jump
Yeah.
seats. Yeah, that's what it had, and it had a blue interior and really really nice. I
Oof.
mean, I think uh, there was a lot of stories in that one. It wasn't mine, but I mean, I did have some really good stories with that Nissan. Ended up selling it. Again, this was back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like 720s,
Yeah.
sadly, I don't know, haven't really developed a value up until the last like 5 years, in my opinion. I could be wrong,
Sort
but for the
well, yeah,
I mean, 620s, even 720s, no. Hard bodies a little bit in the last few years because they went through
yeah,
that the mini truck phase for a hot minute, and people kind of wanted the
yeah.
hard bodies. but because they were so versatile. But man, the 720s, I don't know what it was about that car. They just know not a lot of people loved them, but they were damn good bulletproof trucks, man.
Yeah,
So I don't
they
know.
were nice. Would you say they're kind of feeling the same effect as the 280ZX in some ways, like where it's
I
not the
think anything
favorite?
anything old Nissan is just becoming cool right now. So
It is.
yeah, if you've got anything and you're just trying to make trying to keep up a reason for keeping it in the car in your garage, keep it
Hmm.
because it is
Yeah,
this is that time period where people are starting like a lot of hipsters are trying to like buy cool. So yeah, but moving on,
gotcha.
Alfred,
Offrey comes in. 350Z was his first Nissan model. Because I was in high school, I used it to read. I used to
super
read
sweet.
Super Street magazine. They showed the 350Z prototype at the
Yeah,
time.
I remember all those time
Get to
periods. I was
choose.
writing at the time,
Fast
all on the
forwards.
350. Yeah.
Yeah. 7 years later, had enough cash saved, started searching for the perfect one. Daytona Blue with a 6 speed.
Well,
Good way to go. Good way to go. And I've seen this car personally. Freddie is a friend of
He's
ours.
been working on that same car forever. You
Pristine.
can never sell that car, Freddie.
Can't
So,
can't. That's a very good car to be a part to have as part of your life, and
Diego commented on his 85. He goes, "I loved it. Bought her at 18 and went everywhere with her. Awesome."
awesome.
Brad out of Aussie land said, "Ha ha ha! I remember cramming six people in my 240Z back when I was young and stupid. Yes,
There
stupidity
you
rules.
go.
That's the whole point
Yeah.
of being stupid at a young
Woo.
age. But
Hatch
man,
open too.
eight
Keep the hatch open
people,
as you're driving.
actually
You have to
eight
legs sticking out of the hatch, right?
eight
Like people
people
are just trying
deep.
to find a.
Okay, let's just do this. Okay,
Okay.
one person
Six
driver
six people.
seats,
Yeah.
two people passenger seat because that's
Ooh.
maximizing space. All right.
Okay.
So we're three in the front, and
Yeah.
then from there it's pretty much
Three.
just naked twister in the back hatch
was
to make
okay,
that
was
happen.
did y'all take the tire out to make space, or like I
No,
mean,
no,
now
no.
I've
Just
seen it
cram
before
those.
where people will just kind of sit in the hatch and just have their legs hanging out, but you're side by side, but to have another one, that's got to be
Now
crazy.
Brad said
To
I'm right.
yeah.
I'm pretty good at maximizing luggage and maximizing let me see here.
Oh, hatch closed. You're brave.
Hatch closed. Yeah, you want to be safe. You got to be safe.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
maximizing human transport in compact vehicles. Yeah, we've done it before. We've I have a story here, and I'm not going to go ahead and go
Ooh,
too sideways, but we've had rental vehicles where we've
yes,
gone five deep on the seats and two in the trunk. And
yeah.
we've done that at Z conventions
Well,
before,
you.
where we've put people in trunks
I
at
remember.
before. Oh,
Yeah, I remember when
yeah.
you remember that one time we were in your frontier. It was five of us who went to a place, and on the way out, it was six of us. And of all the people, I was the youngest. And so, because I was the youngest, I had to sit in the bed of the truck,
You had to lay
and
down in the bed
I
of the
laid
truck.
down because I guess
No,
it's
that
no
was
longer it's frowned
me.
upon these
It was
days.
me and Brianna who worked for NISMO at the time, and then
Yeah.
the rest of the NISMO staff. And we wanted to go to a Mexican food restaurant,
Yes.
and I wanted you to come with us. And I'm like,
Yes.
hey, bro, you're sitting on somebody's
Lap. Yeah.
pelvic area, or you're laying down on the back. And we just did it old school ghetto style, and you laid in the
Yeah.
back. And then we went to a Mexican food restaurant, and we ate and we drank, and
The
which is still we're
the
not
sad.
adding, and we're just it
Yeah.
keeps getting worse. Yeah, but we had a
It
good time,
it
and then
was
we kept hitting
fine.
speed bumps.
Oh,
Yeah.
you did it. No, no, that's you on purpose. This
No,
guy,
no. I just
this
happened to find the way that only had speed
Miles would
bumps.
find Miles. You made it definitely sure to find every speed bump and to
You know, speed
search
bumps
for
are
it
there for
specifically.
safety. Let's just not. You got a problem, take it up with the Department of Transportation, buddy. I am just trying to save lives and get you where you need to be. Moving on down the line.
Moving on,
Let's
though. That
see
is a very,
here.
very good back alley chat. I think we covered all the stories, guys. Thanks for chiming in. We loved sharing your stories, and I hope we can do this again with some other topics in the future, though,
Yeah,
guys.
and
Thank you.
yeah, so moving right along. We got to go through events here, and then we're going to start working our way towards the door, if you will.
Yes.
Mike, you are first up for events. Let's talk a little bit about upcoming NISFest.
Let's go for it, man. Yes, like you said, we shared this again before in last episode, but this time it's coming up much closer. October 9th, this is in the Irwindale Speedway, California, I think Southern California area. We are talking about Nice Fest. I'm going to run a video in the background, honestly. They market themselves as being the premier Nissan event in California. Premier is code for probably one of the first years, second years. I do love the enthusiasm these guys have. They have a really good photo here. I'll show you of the team. I just love to see the community. That's a big thing for us, Miles, right? Obviously, showcasing the community. They seem to be pretty strong. Um, they're on social media. You can look at various packages they sell for the car show. Nicefest.com is where you want to go. Again, that's October 9th from noon to 6 p.m. And this is the photo I'm talking about, of course. A bunch of guys together. Great time. The events that are actually happening is a car show, drifting show, trophies, cash prizes, giveaways, mobile dyno. That's always fun. A good draw, a good attraction to bring people in. Drift, ride-alongs, music, models, foods, drinks. Seems to be a pretty good time, and it is sponsored. That one of their sponsors is one of the local Nissan dealerships. Two of them actually. Nissan of Tustin and Downey Nissan are sponsors for this event. So if you are in the Southern California area here within the next, or what is that, week and a half, you want to check out Nice Fest, either as a spectator or to register. Again, you can register online. That is our first event for you guys. Uh, I got the second event as well, Miles. I want to keep on rolling until the next one. Next event we're talking about is the 14th annual Z Nationals happening October 21st and 22nd. These guys, Z1 Motorsports is the host of this event. They are no strangers to being able to host amazing shows. This is in the Atlanta, Georgia area, so in this case, more closer to the East Coast. This is a 2-day event. Typically consists here. Day one is a track day. This year is being held at the Atlanta Motorsports Park. And second day is actually at Z1's headquarters in Carrollton, Georgia, which is just west of Atlanta. You can go to znationals.com to register and to get more information about either the track day or the car show. I know we always say this, if there's a track day involved, no matter what the event is, that is what you want to register for, even if you're just vaguely curious or interested into it, because most times track days are the first thing to go. You want to register for that, claim your spot, even if you have to return it later, because there typically is what becomes a waiting list for track days. And so that's a really good rule of thumb for you guys who are just even thinking about dabbling into motorsports days and things of that nature, though. The Z Nationals car show, I wonder if they have it. This is what I wanted to point out here. Over $20,000 in giveaways are being given or raffled upon on the show day, which is a Sunday, October 22nd. Z1 being the sponsor, they are no stranger to being able to bring out some great swag, some great merch product. You can really get some really good deals if you're lucky enough to be a winner of certain of these raffle prizes.
Yeah, no.
So again, great time for these guys. Just about a month away. Please check them out.
Yep.
Those are my events. Miles, what do you have?
Well, actually, I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about something that I thought was basically kind of lost and dead to us, unfortunately, for a while. With everything that's kind of been happening over the last few years, we had kind of thought that NISMO festival that was happening, of course, in Japan was all but lost to us.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, that is not the case. I'm happy to kind of report. So I wanted to talk a little bit about.
faster. Yeah, that's what it is. Again,
You're gonna do your slow clap.
I made it.
Um, yeah.
It's amazing what a tempo will do to your
Yeah,
emotions and
and
communication.
you are not hitting tempo.
I'm
The
not
only
getting it
guy that
right
I
at all.
know who's the drummer is not hitting his tempo. So
Ouch.
yeah,
Yeah.
ouch. Dun
Ouch.
dun.
Da.
Ah, I gotcha. All right, moving along. So, big kudos to Nissan, the global news, Nissan news desk, who just dropped this recently. Nismo Festa is going to be returning in December to Fuji Speedway. This will be in December. Happening on December 4th, the 23rd NISMO Festival. For those that don't know, or weren't aware or don't listen to our previous shows, shame on you. The Unfortunately, the last few years, the NISMO festival was canceled due to everything that's been happening with COVID. Um, and I'll just kind of read it straight from the news desk because they've written up something very nice here. After being held for 22 years, the NISMO festival was regrettably canceled the last 2 years to help contain COVID 19 and to ensure the well being of fans, participating teams, exhibitors, and Nissan NISMO employees. This year, Nissan and Nissan Motorsports and Customizing Company, which is the new name, get it right, have decided to hold the festival to meet the expectation of fans while making the utmost effort to prevent the spread of COVID.
Woo.
Tako Katajiri, head of Nissan's Motorsports Business Unit Office and president of NMC, says over the past 2 years, we have heard from many fans who are eagerly waiting for the NISMO Festival to be held again, as NMC has established to was established to integrate the strengths of NISMO and Autech, which we've talked about in the past. Go back and listen to it. We're excited to showcase an even more attractive NISMO brand. This year, we will also hold an Autech owners group,
Ooh.
Shonen, homecoming meeting. Which had previously had been canceled due to the pandemic. We will take uh, we will take thorough precautions to help prevent the spread of COVID 19 and ensure the well being of all participants at the event. We're looking forward to seeing you all there. And again,
Mm.
for those that have the means or are lucky enough to attend this year or lucky enough to get authorization to enter the country, because that's been a concern
That's
too as
true too.
well.
The
Um,
Nissan, yeah,
Again,
the Japan thing. Yeah.
December 4th, 2022. This will be the 23rd NISMO Festival that's happening. Just a few things to let you know about the event. We are going to have a race car demonstration, which is going to be pretty awesome considering what we talked about through Super GT, the motorsports year. This is going to be a stellar year for the Super GT. And I'm sure you're going to have the most amazing swag that's going to be given and sold there, which I'm super jelly about. So if
We
anybody
got to talk to some
goes,
friends to see if they can help us out.
get me a craft sports motorsports jacket, just text me, say Miles, I'm here. It's quadrillion yin. Let me know
the
what that
the
is, and
the
and
sizes are going to be different. You're going to need a 4X
I'm gonna
just to
need a
justify being a 1X, or
whatever
you know
the
what I mean.
fat kid size in Japan is. Let me know, and
Just
what
get it, yeah.
and you will be a friend of the show eternally for life. But moving on, race car demonstration, exhibition, vendor booths, online content. Again, Fuji Speedway and in the Shizuoka prefecture in Japan. So again, I just want to give again another shout out to Nissan. It makes sense for them to do this because they know they're going to have this really badass year for Super GT, and it just makes sense for them
Oh,
to highlight all that. I
yep.
am super excited and super happy about this. Again, I wish I could attend. If anybody else is attending or has friends, let me know. I'll send them with money so they can buy us
Us. Thank
swag.
you. Yeah. All
So
right, man. Yeah,
I'll buy
yeah,
you
yeah.
a little napkin or one of
Give me.
those
I'll be one of those
like
umbrella people.
umbrella
The
girls.
midriff. Yeah. You know you want to
Uh,
see that, Miles. Woo.
I,
Give me
I don't want. I don't like paying for what I've already seen. Just
why buy the cow when you can get the milk to go?
get the milk for free. That's it. That's it.
You are mentioning a really cool thing, and I really hope to see that I mean, at least see the recaps at Fuji
Yeah.
Speedway, this event you're talking about, which is the GT 500 class, GT 300 class entry cars at the festival. Like I said, there are some
Ye
exhibitions.
No,
Yeah,
I mean that's not even the layer of the level of cool that's there. They're going to be breaking out the old
the
school
vintage.
JGDC cars.
Yes,
Everything that's in like some they'll break out cars out of Zama. I mean, it's
yes.
just it's orgasmic. That's
I
all I'm going to say. It's just for you and me, we would
yeah.
lose our brains. So yeah, I've got to
I
make one of these days. So
I was fortunate enough to go in 2014 during the Nissan Z
yeah.
trip, Z Crazies trip,
I missed that, and
and
yeah,
I
I've lived vicariously through live events, and then of course for our Aussie brothers that are living right now, you used to have your own Nissan festival. I'm not sure if it's a NISMO festival, but they would have one and then would go live on it, and they would have really great footage and really great um, just commentary. It was awesome. I loved it because it was all in English, and
mm,
so just throwing it out there. I don't think they'll ever have another one of those that happened unfortunately in Australia. But again, Nissan, if you're listening,
yeah.
just
The,
saying.
the gesture says it all. You didn't even say anything. You're like,
But then again, they're not. It's not like they're doing V8 racing again. So not like them.
yeah,
The Jack
yeah.
Daniels V8 series, V8 racing cars. Those are awesome. I love those cars. Anyway, moving on. We won't
Yes.
talk about all that and all that sadness. So again, that's everything that we've got in the way of Nismo Nissan events. Again, we encourage you to share Nissan related events with us, no matter how big or small. Let us know because we want to let people know what's happening in the community. At the very least, we'll share these on our pages because this is
Yes.
our community. This is how we keep it. We keep it tight. We keep the brand strong. So again, let us know what's happening in your community. Let us know what events are happening. Not parking lot events, but if you have something of noteworthy efforts, let us know. We'll
Right.
definitely throw it out there for everybody that's out there. So
Good point.
um, moving along, let's see here. We want to remind everybody to like, share, and subscribe. If you need to contact us, you can definitely do that through social media. You can email us at info@nissannerd.com. I have gone ahead and put our official phone number on the Facebook page. Be
Ooh, you
nice.
did. I
Oh,
had
I know.
neglected to do that. So you didn't put my number, did you? You
I
put
put your I put your parents' number on
my
there.
parents. Okay, great. That's
Yeah,
great.
so they can call
They,
late at night
it's.
when your dad's sleeping in his underwear and answer the phone and yell at people. So yeah, but no, I have gone ahead and done that.
Uh
So
oh.
if you do need to contact us, if it's an emergency, let us
Yeah.
know. Now, one thing that I did want to go ahead and mention for those that are still listening with us,
Yeah.
you threw out a survey as of late,
I.
which went
Yeah.
out, and we were thinking four people are going to subscribe or talk about it, but people have been
We've.
blowing us up with a lot of feedback. And go ahead and talk about it.
Yes. So on the last episode, I had put together a survey just as an attempt to get you guys feedback. After 2 years of running this thing, it's like, all right, well, what works, what doesn't work, what would you like to have changed? Again, this is a community feedback. We want to provide you guys with the best show possible. So that was the purpose of the survey. And within the last 2 weeks, we've had a very, very good set of feedback from the podcast, which we take it to heart, and we're actually gonna have I guess we're gonna summarize what kind of changes that we would like to make as a result. This survey is still open, by the way. So actually, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna save this link here. I'm gonna put it here in the comments for you guys in just a moment. And what we're going to do is that uh, please continue to give us your feedback. This survey will close at the end of this week, this weekend, I should say. So there's about three more days left to give us some feedback. And the cool part is, and I didn't mention this last time, Miles, is that your information, whatever feedback you provide us, it's anonymous. We don't know who you are if anybody asks, so we can feel free to punch a blind kid. You know what I mean? It's like no one's gonna know. It's just in the dark.
What?
Well, punch somebody in the dark, I should say. Some, you know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna know who punched who. So
Please, for those listening, please don't punch blind children. They've got enough going on.
they got enough challenges in their life, right? So
And
thank you
I
for
don't know.
correcting me on that one.
Yeah, thanks. I didn't know I needed to, but here we are. All right.
Here we are. Yeah.
So please fill out the survey. Give us feedback on Mike's inappropriate comments, and we'll definitely take those to heart, and we'll let him know what is a socially appropriate,
Yes.
how to
Yes.
not mistreat
And I should
the
mention
blind
one more
children
time
of the world.
too.
Yeah.
It's 10 questions. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Odds are it'll take it just few moments.
Yeah, I feel like we've evolved from it. I mean, some of the feedback we have taken as of late was we got rid of the soundboard, which I am extremely sad about. I pour
we
out a
don't.
beer for my soundboard, but apparently people wanted us to see get rid of the soundboard because it was distracting and it showed a sign of immaturity.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, that's the fun part. I mean, maybe we just have certain moments. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah,
Again,
so we
we
are
don't have
no
to listen to
soundboard
any of it.
anymore.
It's really up to
We
us.
don't have to listen to anything you say, but guess what? It's your community soundboard, so we have to listen to you. So no more soundboard, no more actual soundboard. That's gone away.
Yeah.
People asked us to try to trim this down into 2 hours, which we're at 1 hour and
We
54
tried.
minutes.
We guys,
We
we really
really
tried this
tried to get
time.
it to an hour and a half, but guess what? We did not.
For some reason,
So
we're getting it. We're still at the 2 hour
we
range.
still talk way too
We just
damn
gotta
much.
shut up. Yeah, that's the
We
thing. We
just need
should
to be
just
shut up and let people go home. So on that note,
yes,
yeah, we will continue to listen to your suggestions. Comment on the surveys,
please.
send us feedback. Again, anything that's happening in your neck of the woods, let us know. We're really big. We're trying to develop something on Nissan in history, and then of course, we're
Yes,
always good with birthdays. If people of note or have birthdays too as well, let
celebrities,
us know. We're going to try to fit
drivers,
that in here
designers.
really
Yep.
quickly because I think it's important for us to give shout outs to people recognition. So again,
I agree.
kudos to everybody for being on with us here tonight.
Thank you.
I just want to give a shout out to for people for jumping on with us. I know you all got lives to live, but too bad you're spending them with us here and you're trapped for the 2 hours because you can't hit the end button at all. So you have
We're
to
just
stay
that
with us.
addicting. Woo! Yeah, right.
Wow!
No,
Once you're in till the end. So yeah.
thank you
But
guys.
moving along, that's everything that I had here. Again, thank you to everyone. I'll go ahead and shut up about that now.
Yeah,
I'm going to give one last comp by, and
let's do
then
it,
I think that's it.
guys. Again, with this, let's mark this off here. Thanks for being with us. Kanpai.
Oh God! And then a shout out to everybody. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. But get in your garage, do something cool this weekend,
Yes.
and tell us about it. That is all I have, and bye.
Talk to you guys soon here.
Oh man,
Oh man, it's after hours for you,
it
huh?
is after hours. It's the boom boom hour.
Coming to the stage, Lavender
What?
Surrender.
You're going to nursing school? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Oh, great.
good.
She likes. How's it
Yeah,
go? You could talk to anybody in that club like that, and you'd be like about anything, and they're gonna be like,
nursing school. Is it a common?
no. The comedian talks about this. He's all like the ladies who work there will agree with you about anything. You'd be like, I like birds. Oh my god, I like birds too. She likes birds. It's gonna happen. You know. They start. I like apples. Oh, I love green apples.
I love
Oh, she likes
oxygen.
apples.
You
Yeah,
breathe. I
it's
breathe.
it's
Oh
gonna
my God,
happen.
we have so much in common. Oh my God. Let's see here.
Oh my god. By the way, yeah, dude, we did try to make a subconscious note to make this go under the 2 hour mark. Now we were just a hair under. I'm talking minutes. Should we just wait and just stare at each other until the
I
two
think we
hour
should
mark,
just
or
like,
just?
yeah, just let's just look at each other.
We got to do this ourselves here.
Yeah.
We
You
did get
know,
a few
maybe
comments
we'll be
here.
like a
Yeah.
father and son, like a disapproving look. Like, man, I really wish you wouldn't have set your school on fire.
What's the? Uh,
I'm not disappointed.
I'm
I
no. I'm
just
not mad.
expect.
Oh
I'm not
ooh
mad.
ooh.
I'm disappointed.
Okay, no, you had one. No, you said, yeah, I'm not disappointed, but I expected more. That still feels
Yeah, it's pretty.
deeper than the
Yeah,
mad versus disappointed, because that's a
that
common line,
and that's
right?
how you father right there. That really is that you just got to learn. Like, and that's honestly how you parent. Like, you really. And we're gonna switch to our other podcast here is Nissan
The
Parenting,
parents Nissan parent podcast.
the parent podcast. it's a really select group. But
Coming.
really, what it teaches you is how to really shame and
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
really like dig really deep emotional ditches in your children that they'll never dig themselves out of. Really, it's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
shaming.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
N-
it. That's what I'm about.
well, I was wondering because I know you've got a daughter, right? But she's of an age where even if you try to shame her, it bounces right off her. She couldn't care less. Like
No,
she's very confident for one. She is a uh, resilient. Nothing affects her. Like she
no,
knows
no,
who
no.
she is. She's very confident. And
My
I
my
really like that.
that kid at age 13 is. I'm waiting for the "I hate you, dads." That's what I'm waiting
Ooh.
for.
You think she's
But
gonna be one of those that wear all black and start smoking
oh
cigarettes
yeah,
and
she's
stuff?
like a total goth kid. Like it's
Think
coming, and
so?
I'm like, you can't out goth your dad. He was like the goth of the goth. I was like, you can't. Let me show you some pictures. Let me show you some music. All right, with your
Yeah.
little emo bands.
Emo bands.
But
I
yeah, it's like, and then you're like, oh, I hate you, dad. I was like, you know what? I used to
get
give
in
my
line.
dads the wrong tools. You can't hurt my feelings. So on that note, we'll go ahead and shut that
God,
down for the night. But
that is
yeah,
pretty funny though, man.
Mike,
Coming
go
from me,
home.
man, I am not a
Yeah.
dad. We've got 20 seconds left, so it's
Now we're not gonna run
I'm
the
gonna count
clock
it.
out. This
No,
isn't an
no,
NBA final. Just it's done, son. Like that's it.
10,
That's it.
9. I'm
9,
joking.
8. This is an. All right.
All
Go
right,
home.
guys,
Yeah, yeah. Kudos,
we are out of
everybody.
here. Guys, have fun. We'll see you in 2 weeks. All
Bye.
right.
Go home.